This is the Supercar Connection podcast, bringing you behind-the-scenes conversations from across the industry. If you love supercars, you're in the right place. So let's hit it. Today we're sitting down with Obi and Austin, owners of OBZU, an exotics dealership in Orange County. Austin and Obi got started working together in exotic sales several years back and decided it was time to start their own thing with OBZU. They've spent years in and around supercars, so this should be good.
All that just to sell exotics, man.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
we like the spot though. I mean, it's pretty like low key, and it's just in the hub of Orange County.
Perfect. I actually, when we were pulling up, I was like, "Is this where I think it's at?" And then literally, this is extremely
tucked back in the corner, man. It's like a diamond in the rough kind of deal.
Well, there's a lot of nice shops right around in this area.
Oh yeah, You got the Ferrari Collision Center. You got Eurocar. A lot of collections just hidden around here. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I guess since this is one of the businesses that noise doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right.
You can take advantage of the lower pricing.
Yeah.
It's right next to the airport.
I guess so.
For sure. And it's nice for clients. Like, I'm able to show a car to a guy like at the private terminals, literally right there.
Yeah.
It takes me 5 minutes. That's how I sold that GLS, actually.
That's bitching.
He was like, I'm going out of town like right now. It's like, I could bring the car to you. You can take a look at it before you get on your flight. Sure enough, dude, he bought it. Like, all right, cool.
That thing moves, huh?
Yeah. GLS 63 is pretty fast.
So it looks like
600 horsepower.
Yeah.
Looks like a beast.
Seven-seater.
Yeah, 17.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do those things go for right now?
Like right around 120, 130.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like, would you rather have that or the Maybach? The Maybach's cool, but
No, but the Maybach is all. It's like, I mean, it's very nice.
yes.
Yeah.
But you're buying that car. It's same thing like when you get a Rolls type thing. Like you buy a Rolls, okay, you look nice, cool. I'm a douchebag. Excellent. Like at the end of the day, the car was built and meant to be driven. Like you're supposed to have a chauffeur type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be something to buy. Like, okay, that's my daily.
Yeah, where you
family
daily.
car.
Yeah, for
Exactly.
sure. It's sick.
Buy a Maybach because you're like, I can buy a Maybach type shit. I'm gonna drive it still, but I can afford a Maybach. Versus this is like, no, I'm gonna drive this shit. This is reasonable. This is actually what's useful.
No, it's a cool car too. I mean, and that one just got like window tint, like on the windshield and everything. Like it's dark in there.
That's my style.
Yeah,
It
it's
looks like
dark in there.
blacked out.
Yeah.
I'm a big murdered out. Don't see me. Don't look at me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sick though.
Yeah, very much.
But
So how long have you guys been open here?
So officially been open for business for about a year and a half or so.
yeah,
We opened in September of 22.
yeah.
Yeah. So we got the building a few months before that. We had to do some work, get some painting done.
A lot of work, not some work.
A lot of work.
This place
And a
was
lot of
not-
painting.
Yeah.
A lot
Dude,
of
a year
painting.
and a half though.
Yeah.
Dude, I feel like your guys is like even just social or just like presence within the community for a year and a half. Mm-hmm. That's insanity.
I mean,
Yeah.
officially,
Yeah.
but like
Right.
we've been in the industry, for a while. But it's like
The brand. How long has the
brand.
brand been established?
I mean, it was just an Instagram handle.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how the name came about. So it was just like, well, we have a cool handle, and we don't want to be like a typical like motorsports or auto works, whatever. So we just kept it as it, and we had like already a decent following. And yeah, so it's
Trying to
just,
find a name for a business is like so difficult because you want to make it so perfect.
It doesn't have to be.
And like we just tried not to worry about that part. We're like, let's just turn the Instagram into the dealership, I guess.
It's perfect.
And then it's a cool. We got a guy to design us a pretty cool logo, and
Sick.
it ended up working out. So
yeah.
You just got to send it.
yeah, I
That's
just sent it.
That's
Honestly,
literally all that it is.
like I mean, I'm not gonna lie. We didn't really have too crazy of a business plan. We just knew like, hey, we can do this, and we just didn't like working for other people and how they were doing business per se. Like we could do it a little bit differently, a little bit more, hands-on, more ownership experience versus like, squeezing the juice out of, one little thing,
Right.
So, and that's kind of like why we're like, let's just do it ourselves.
Yeah. We want it to be a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely
that's
different.
That's
Clearly,
how
you can
successful
tell.
businesses operate, though.
Right.
It's very much like I feel like too many people try to like get every single thing dialed,
Yeah.
and they're like, okay, now I'm ready.
Yeah.
Like you're never gonna be ready.
Yeah,
you have
for
to
sure.
just fucking just
Never.
go for it.
Yeah.
You
Granted,
expect something, but
Calculatingly risking, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Not just like
for sure.
absolutely being like, I have no
Send
idea
it.
what I'm doing. Like, no, there's
Yeah.
you have a little bit of it, but when you
Right.
do too much, then you just sit in this analysis paralysis, and then you're like, nothing ever fun.
Yeah. You get lost for sure.
Very
Especially
much
being familiar with the industry. I know you guys have kind of been in this world. How did that start?
So I kind of just really loved cars. It all started from like video games, Midnight Club. There was even this Simpsons game, Simpsons Road Rage. I don't know if you guys ever played it. And it was just fun just driving around. So
What system we talking? Like a fucking PS2?
yeah,
type
like
shit?
PS2, yeah, literally. And
Great looking cars on the PS2.
little pink Cadillac or whatever. And yeah, I mean, I just knew I loved cars and started going to car shows and all that. And I was like, dude, how can I be around this stuff all the time? You know, I can't wait for every Saturday. It has to be all the time. So I said I have to just go work for a place that has cars, maybe a dealership, whatever it might be. So I applied a million places. Finally got called in, or like one of my replies was like, hey, you can come and intern for us. So went and did that, and that's where I kind of started at this dealership in Costa Mesa. Used luxury and exotics consignment mainly. And yeah, I loved it. Fell in love the first day. It was just, you get no money, but if you could bring in cars to sell and they sell, then you get a little fee. So from there, started to just kind of grow, and I was like excited to just be around cars all the time. Started to just go to all the car shows. I mean, I already was, but just going to more car shows, meeting more people, shaking more hands. And then from there, I was like, before I knew it, I was getting a monthly salary, and I was able to get cars in pretty consistently. And I kind of just was bouncing all over. I was selling cars, I was consigning them, I was even just like a maintenance guy, just cleaning around the shop. And then, so maybe 2 years into that dealership, that's where Austin kind of came in. Mm-hmm. And then we started working together. He just got hired as like a sales guy, right? Mm-hmm. And so we just, you know, we hit it off. We were cool. We had like our thing going. And then just, I mean, we could fast forward a few years later. I ended up leaving to a different dealership called Iluso, which huge dealership. They
infamous.
Pump cars. Mm-hmm. You know, they're the top guys out here for sure.
Yeah.
And then just a few months later, you left, right?
Yep. I left right after him. But I mean, I got into cars by super young age. I mean, probably 4 or 5. My dad had Corvettes, C4 Corvette, and all that kind of stuff. And you know, it was nothing like, you know, getting in the Corvette. I mean, you know, a little kid, you're not supposed to sit in the front seat, but you know,
and we make it happen.
And we
This was the 90s.
yeah, exactly. And do burnouts and stuff like that. I'm like, this is so cool, you know. Yeah. And then, you know, eventually, after a couple of jobs, I worked out of this startup called Shift, which is no longer. I think they just went bankrupt. But that was like you bring cars to people, like a test drive. Like somebody goes online and says, "Hey, I want to test drive this car," and we bring the car to you, and that's all like consignment based. But it wasn't all luxury stuff. It was kind of like everyday cars, a couple luxury cars here and there. But and then I was on vacation, and then get an email. I was on a cruise actually, so you don't have a lot of service. Come back and like, oh yeah, we've laid off all of the salespeople for this company. Like, oh. Okay, well, guess I don't have a job anymore. So then I was just kind of like, you know, cold calling. And I was like, you know, I want to go work do work around exotics and stuff. Like, that's just way more fun, you know? And then so I actually cold emailed this dealership, the same dealership in Costa Mesa. And they're like, well, we're not hiring right now, but I mean, if you want to send a resume in and maybe come in for an interview, see what's up. So sure enough, went in, killed the interview, obviously, and they hired me. So, which was nice because it was like, you know, came back from vacation with no job, spent all this money. I'm like, well, we gotta
make something happen.
I gotta make some money.
Gotta figure it out.
Yeah. And then that's how me and Obi met. He was bringing in the cars, and I was doing the selling, and he left. And then I ended up leaving, going to working for my dad, doing kind of like FedEx ground stuff. So owning, you know, a bunch of routes, and I was managing that. Dealing with employees and things, and fell out of love with that. And then literally I told my dad, I said, look, I think it's time for us to like move on from that. Literally the very next day, Obi calls me out of the blue. I mean, we kept in touch, but not like
we haven't
daily.
talked in at least a few months before that.
It was a minute, and then it was just, you know, the universe works in mysterious ways, you know. And then
that it does.
Obi calls me literally the next day. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do next. And he calls me and says, hey, you know what, do you want to like, so we always talked about opening up a dealership, but it was always like a, you know, pipe dream. You know what I mean? It was
thing
like,
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much going into it, and he's like, I think we should do it, and I'm like, well, it's funny you say that because I think we should too. And then you know, from there it's history. But yeah, I mean, cars are. I've always been a big car guy. You know, it's kind of like you know you're a car guy when even you're driving down the street and you're like, oh, I know that's a Honda Accord, I know that's a Honda Civic, I know that's a. You try and guess the model and the
you
make.
See a tail light.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, oh yeah, I know
and
it's HRV.
You test yourself in your mind. Maybe that's just like, you know, the ADD in my head. I'm just always trying to see like what car it is and testing myself. And then I'm like, well, maybe that's because I'm a car person. Because, you know, you ask a non-car person what a car is, and like, I don't know, it's a gray car.
Yeah. Describe it by the color.
Versus like you guys and everybody here could probably sit there and say, I know what it is, I know what kind of trim it is, you know what I mean, what year,
You see
like
something
that.
yellow with LED lights way down the highway coming towards you. You're like, is it a C7
Right.
or 488?
Yeah.
I'm going to guess 488.
Right.
C7.
Yeah, for sure.
Or even just by the sound. I mean, like, you know, you start to like figure out, that's exactly what that is.
People
Right.
look at us like we're crazy.
Right.
Like for us, it's just like regular. Like, how do you not tell the difference, or how does it not excite you to see the scale of everything like
Right.
that?
It's called love for the game.
Literally,
That's what it
man.
is.
People don't have not enough of you guys have love for the game, man.
No, gotta have love for the game, for
you
sure.
have to.
If you hear a Lamborghini V12 and you don't immediately know that's a Lamborghini V12,
something wrong with
not a car guy.
not,
Yeah.
not at all.
Yeah, I've been watching enough YouTube videos of you know, the compilations.
Literally.
Yeah.
You were bringing in the work
Yeah.
and you were doing the selling. So you weren't actually selling anything at this place.
I was just kind of all over, but the main role I had was, all right, someone wants to sell their car, and that was the hard thing to do because you're pretty much cold calling strangers to say, hey, I don't know you, but bring me your really expensive car and we'll sell it for you for a fee. And that's kind of like that trust barrier that you have to break is like, we don't know each other, but we'll bring it in, we'll sell it for you, and we'll get you the most money that we can.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. Someone from speaking, no exotic sales experience. That type of skill set that you had to bring in the cars is a very people-based skill set.
Yeah,
Be able to get people to trust you to consign their cars.
Yeah.
So you did, in my opinion, which could potentially be a little bit of the harder part.
For
to
sure.
get people to do the trusting aspect.
100%.
Yeah.
And that they wouldn't even have you double dip into the sales aspect. They're like, well, if Obi's so good at this damn first part, like this shit should be a cakewalk for him on the second part, no?
I actually think I suck at selling cars. Yeah. It's funny.
Name another place that will tell you that.
And I
That's
think
the
that-
honesty and like legitimate.
I think that's the easy part because these cars sell themselves.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
so I
kinda
have
what
the
it
easy
is.
job.
That shit is true.
Yeah.
I
They
have the
do.
easy job. You know, like for me, it's like if you don't like this SF90, the spec on it, it's like then don't buy it.
I'm not going to force it on you.
Right.
You know?
You know what I mean? It's like you don't like it.
Yeah.
It's not like a Honda Civic where I'm trying to wheel and deal. It's like, dude, it's a $700,000 car. If you don't like the car, I don't expect you to buy it.
Yeah, for real.
I'm
Meanwhile,
not
someone
gonna
else
push
is
you.
like, I really want white seats.
Right.
And this is the one on the market and it's close by and here I am.
Correct. Yeah. And that's just a matter of, you know, my job is he's got the hard part of like saying, hey, like, trust us with your, you know, couple $100,000 asset.
literally.
And it's like, and me, I'm just like, a guy comes in and he calls me and he goes, hey, I want that. I'm like, sure, let's work something out.
Thank you. You have no idea. We've done a couple other episodes with sales-based people, and one of the things that I've always told people, they're like, okay, like give me a tip on like how to buy a car, and like you guys correct me if I'm wrong on this part of it. Your game is not that it's easy, but like you're in one of the only industries where, you know, when the client walks in the door, you literally have the product that they want more than
correct.
anything.
Yeah.
They're coming to you for something that you already have and you want.
Yep.
So your guys' leverage is already a little bit higher.
Right.
Yeah.
All you got to do is just facilitate their desire.
Correct.
Facilitate.
That's
yep.
it. Just kind of come on.
It's just
take
the
a look. I know
relationship
you
that you
like it.
build.
Sit in it. Does it smell
The
nice?
trust.
What do you
Yeah.
want to do? Like
Yeah.
it's very much so.
Yeah.
People don't. It's a whole different. They walk in, they get intimidated. They're X, Y, and Z.
Right.
And like they already have the up on you.
For sure.
I always tell people, I'm like, try to flip the script on them. I'm not trying to give tips to walk in here and start hacking cars and shit like that.
Please
But,
do,
like,
though.
Can I ask you guys this question?
Yes.
If you had to give buyers a good perspective on how to, like, for example, somebody that wants to walk in and get the best deal on a brand new RAV4 and you're
Right.
going to like a commercial dealership, what would be the best or tip that you would use for an average buyer on trying to get the best deal somewhere commercialized like that?
My suggestion would just be know the market,
Yeah,
right? So
sure.
like for a RAV4, if they're, you know, all trading at, let's say, $30,000 and this one is at $35,000, if you bring documentation, like for me as a sales guy, if I have, let's say, something more common, like let's say, like we had a Cadillac Escalade V recently, right? We had 179 miles, super sick truck, super low miles, and, you know, the guy comes in and you say, yeah, I want this car. And I'm like, okay, well, this is where the market is. And if he could turn around and show me a car that has, you know, similar miles and way less in price, you take the leverage away from me.
Right.
And so what am I going to say? my car is cooler. It's the same car.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's the main thing. Is just kind of doing a little bit of research.
Definitely
on the
the
market.
research part of it.
It sounds tedious, but like, I mean, I give away information for free. You know, if you hit me up and say, even if it's something I don't have, and you're like, hey, is this a good deal? Like, I'll be straight with you. Be like, it's probably not a good deal, you know, because we have software nowadays where I could plug in a VIN and I could tell you exactly where that car is listed in the entire nation as far as the price goes. Right. So, you know, I'll tell you straight up, like, that's not a good deal, or it is a good deal.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's kind of the main thing. Is just do a little bit of research.
Do your research for sure. Like when I think about when I'm trying to buy a car for myself, I'll go and scour the market online, all that, and then when I find the right one, all I want to do is go into the dealership. I don't want to be sold on the car. I know what I want, so that's kind of like how I flip it and sell these cars. Is people know what they want. If they do their research, they know that the price is decent. We try to price our cars as fair as possible. So yeah, I mean, the selling part is just being like honest and just being open and saying, hey, like, we have a good car. Here are the options. If it's not yours, then it's not yours, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I respect it.
Yeah.
Would you take the Escalade V or this GLS 63 over here?
Escalade,
what a question.
all day.
Escalade's pretty good.
Really?
Yeah, Escalade all day.
Is it just that much more of a beast or what?
It's just way more like...
It's America, baby.
That's what I'm talking about, baby.
It's
You got
America,
Corvette
baby.
background, Austin. That's what I'm talking about.
I've had C606s in my past. I've had Camaros and all that
Finally,
kind of stuff.
somebody that gets me, man.
Like, you
Somebody
know,
that
like
gets me.
I get it. Like, I get all this stuff. It's cool. Don't get me wrong, but like, Corvettes are like my thing.
Yeah.
I mean, he could tell you about a last dealership I had a cammed head Z06. I mean, the thing was a ripper, you know. But I mean, I have a mullet for God's sakes. But
You guys ever seen Step Brothers?
Yeah.
You know that movie? They're like, do you want to go do karate in the garage? And they're like, did we just become best friends?
Yeah.
That's the fucking moment that I'm having.
I mean,
right
Corvettes. It's just nothing like a big rumbling American V8. There's just nothing like it.
I like Escalade, sorry. I like Escalade a lot. But when you put a freaking supercharged 700 horsepower engine in there, it's just like, come on.
freaking
Like,
sick.
it's just
and those
badass.
interiors are fucking amazing.
Real
I know
nice.
the big ass screens like that. I would say I Loki thinks it shits
The
on
night
the
vision,
really
Mercedes.
nice.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Really nice.
Ridiculous. Fuck, now I kind of want to.
But you know what? It's the same buyer, because the funny thing is, the guy that came, we had a guy come in to look at this thing, and
he
ended
had a
up
deal set
on this GLS, ended up buying our Escalade instead.
yeah.
And the guy that bought this car is coming from an Escalade V.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's the same buyer.
Dude, what a question, man.
How about that?
What a
I mean, it
fucking
makes sense.
question.
They're
Yeah.
like, I mean, it is the German versus American.
Exactly.
Exact same thing.
Yeah.
Exactly the same car.
Yeah.
And then you have the Dodge Hellcat.
Oh, the Durango thing?
Yeah, the Durango
Yeah.
Hellcat.
No,
we
but
won't even talk about
that's
that.
a different
Not a
buyer. That's not.
luxury.
That's not the same buyer.
That's
That's
the
not the same buyer.
trailer park version of these cars.
That's the same buyer.
The
But
Still cool, but I mean, not
NASCAR
this
parking
cool.
lot version of these cars.
literally,
No, yeah, that would be a cool car.
Oh, yeah. V is sick, though, for sure.
very much so.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Honestly, I'm trying to think it more so what I want. I want to
Would
give.
you have taken that? Would you have taken? You would have taken the V.
I'm taking the V. Are you fucking kidding me? What?
I didn't hear your answer.
Oh my goodness.
By the
no.
way, my dad had Corvettes too growing up,
Right.
and I think that's part of what might have gotten me into cars.
Mm-hmm.
When I was really little, he had a Viper. So like he had like an '01 Viper,
Widowmaker.
and then got into Corvettes because that Viper messed up his back,
Yeah.
as things do.
Oh, yeah. Those are tight.
Yeah. But he was always like a big Corvette guy growing up. So then he started getting Corvettes, and he had a C7 Z06 that was, I mean, those things are, I saw one driving down here today, a
Right.
blue one. I sent him a
Fantastic.
video of it rolling down the highway. Still a beautiful car.
Those are my
It
favorite.
really
cars.
is.
Sound insane. They rip like crazy.
Yeah.
Like the fact that you can get that car for like 65 grand
Stupid.
is pretty
It's a
insane.
ton of car.
Yeah.
It's
Trust me, if you go
Fun.
back and like I'm gonna say it again, and they hate this shit at this point. I sound like a broken record. There's no better value on the market than that car.
There's not.
I don't care what people say. I don't care. 650 torque, 650 horsepower, American sports car, 65 grand.
Reliable.
Reliable. Please.
Yeah.
Please show me something different. Please show me something that beats
I could
that.
speak to that reliability. Funny story. We were gonna go scheduled to go on field run to Vegas, the midnight one, and we didn't have a car.
Yeah.
But you signed up for the rally, but we didn't have a car. We just, you know, sometimes we'll get
I
a car, we'll
respect it.
sell
I
it or
respect
whatever,
it so much.
and I ended up finding a C7 Z06 with about what was it, like 10,000 miles
Yeah.
or so.
11 miles.
And from this guy local, we literally bought the car from the guy at 5 p.m., came back here, got all of our stuff, because we had all of our stuff here, and then we drove to the starting line for the rally and just took that car on the rally.
Yeah.
And just ripped it.
And just ripped it on the rally.
And it fucking held like a motherfucker.
It was great.
Yeah.
Oh, and it rips too.
Oh, yeah, it was great. And we literally bought the car the same day we started the rally. Yeah. But we did the whole trip, to Vegas, Havasu, all that stuff. Came back. No
Was it
problem.
Havasu rally too?
Yeah, they did like a Havasu day.
What rally was this? It's a hell rally. I
You
love
won.
Havasu.
Yeah, it's
awesome.
a fuel run. They did like so you go to Vegas like the first night, right? And then you sleep, and then the next day they do a drive from Vegas to Havasu, have lunch and stuff like that, and then you come back.
That car is the highway hero.
Yeah.
Very much.
The only downside I could put on that car is like I would be scared to take it up in Angeles Crest. I think it would freak me out. I'd be like one twitch of the foot and I'm off the side
Definitely
of the
not a
cliff.
canyon car.
But everywhere else,
It's
yeah,
so
the thing
sport.
it's such a monster.
That's why they build them up and they drag race them on the freeways.
Yeah,
That's it.
You know what I mean?
Just roll race
in
that
Mexico, of course, but
Of course,
course.
always in the undisclosed
Always in
portion of
Mexico.
we're
Very
just
much
apparently not car guys for thinking that that's fun,
right.
which is interesting.
The amount of people that like come at us for like, well, no, it's not a track, and you guys don't do this now. I'm like, but what are you talking about?
People that have never touched a track in our comments talking about track times.
Hey, that's what everybody markets it as.
I know.
That's like the main thing.
Yeah.
But
What's the craziest thing you guys have had the opportunity to sell?
From here, we had this really, really insane 765 MSO, beautiful blue, Paris blue, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Roof scoop. It had all the carbon fiber. It was just truly like one of our best cars that we've sold.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd say we have these two SF90s right now, which we have the beautiful opportunity to sell. And
insane cars.
great cars, they're both really high spec. They're like 758,000 on this one, and then 744,000 on the other one.
Holy crap! This one's more than this spec.
Yeah,
Holy
yeah.
crap, I would
It's
not
the
have guessed
Assetto
that.
package.
Assetto pack. It has
what
the
The carbon wheels.
the carbon wheels, all the carbon on the back. So when you put them side by side, they have just these little differences. But yeah, I mean, they're both really nice specs, and they're both just a little different.
That one's the Atelier program, so it's like kind of like tailor-made.
Yeah.
But hand-painted gold Dreamlines and stuff on it. It's
Right.
And the painted shields. That's
Painted
got to be
shields.
Yeah, it's like
that's
30
got to be a
grand.
pricey
Yeah.
option.
yeah, it's insane when you look at the
Seems worth it.
stickers for these cars, and it says like other options, like $250,000. I'm like,
It's
Yeah. wild.
absolutely absurd.
And they just started
Other
adding
options.
like the on the inside of the frunk, they have like all the list of the options, and it's so tiny on these cars because there's so many options to list out. It's insane. But
See, I think this is a great. I've always thought this is. So my mind's always going on content because that's like what I do.
right.
And I've always thought like especially with Ferraris, like a dealership like you guys, I think a segment that would just kill it is to highlight something like this and then just go down, like you said, like other options. There's $240,000
Yeah.
in options in this car. So like we're just going down and showing what those special options cost. 'Cause
Right.
I think a lot of people don't even realize that painted shields could be 30 grand. That in itself, like someone's gonna send that to a friend and be like,
Yeah.
bro, look at this. This is insane.
Yeah, this one doesn't even have painted shields over here.
No.
And
It's got-
it's higher spec.
And it's higher spec.
Got the
Dude, it's freaking ridiculous.
yeah, I think the
like-
Assetto pack is just like almost 100K or something like that.
Like my ignorance too. Like I didn't even know like when you do what was the Lamborghini thing that I freaked out about the other day.
Ad personam?
Ad
Crap,
persona,
I didn't
yeah.
even know. Like I still don't understand it. Do you pay how much just to have the ability to do whatever the fuck you want? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's the price tag on it?
So there's like a buy-in to customize. It's like to have ad persona.
And it's like what, like 30 bands? No,
I don't know. That's
got
what
some
someone.
those.
That's
I
what
don't
someone
know.
told
Something
us.
about that.
I think that's just the most ridiculous shit in the world.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, no, you can buy this car and like we'll give you some options, but like if you want to go stupid,
Yeah.
yeah,
give us like fucking.
but every
4K.
manufacturer's got that.
And then
Porsche's
every single
got
thing
it.
goes after that.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know, man. That shit is insane.
I think it's just a lot of the other companies. You can't, even if you have the money, they'll limit it still. Like Porsche, you can be like, I want PTS, and I'll give you $30,000 for the special PTS, and
Right.
they're like, no,
Yeah.
you don't get PTS. Like
Yeah.
we only have 100 slots of PTS.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then like Lamborghini's like, if you give us 30 grand, you can add persona whatever you want.
Yeah. Yeah. Same with McLaren. They're just
Yeah.
like, oh, you want MSO? We got you. Just
Or like
Yeah.
TaylorMade's,
Yeah.
it's like, nah, you haven't bought enough Portofinos to be
Yeah.
unlocked TaylorMade.
Exactly.
So it's just a different world.
Yeah,
sure.
For sure.
in your guys' expertise, what, let's say the major supercar makers, what moves the easiest? What moves the easiest, and what moves the hardest, or the slowest, or the most difficult?
Slowest by far is McLaren.
Huh?
Slowest by far is McLaren.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Why do you say that?
Because he sells them?
Well, that
Sorry.
that and it's like a lot of, they have the stigma of the reliability issues, and so a lot of people stray away from that. I mean, we get McLarens all the time.
Yeah.
And they move, except for my McLaren GT, my poor boy sitting outside.
No one wants that car.
Yeah, I know it's tough, but I mean, like even that 765, the blue one that we had. I mean, it was over $500,000. Of course, it's expensive, but I mean that sat for a long time. Surprisingly, though, that 600 LT we just sold, the green one actually moved pretty quick. But
That was one of my favorites as well. I don't know if you guys saw the olive
color,
green.
though, man, that color is.
That's a Porsche color.
yeah,
That color's
Yeah.
stupid.
Really?
So the factory and McLaren factory took about a year and a half to build that car. Factory Porsche color, olive green, the roof scoop, all the bells and whistles. It even had the original owner's name in the headrest, which is pretty cool.
That's hard.
yeah.
And then we had to get that switched out for the new owner. But yeah, I mean, you know, if you pay up a little bit, they'll do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You got me worried about the McLaren thing. They say McLaren's like.
It's just
As long as you
stigma.
take care of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Stigma.
If you like neglect it, you're gonna not have a great time.
Yeah.
But that's my advice to all McLaren owners: just take care of your car.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fine. That's the main thing. Keep it plugged in, or skip your oil change or whatever it may be. You're gonna have problems.
I think the battery is definitely like the main issue. You just have to keep it plugged in, keep it charged up.
Drive
you let
it.
it die, then it starts to have like random issues, and it's just like, whoa, what?
Yeah. So just pay
I'm waiting
attention.
for my first problem. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Knock on wood.
Knock on wood, yeah.
Just buy one with 40,000 miles on it, so you know it's been driven, all the problems have been done, and then drive it for another 20, 30,000 miles, and then sell it for absolutely nothing.
That's true.
That's probably what I'm about to do. I'm about to buy like a $40,000 12 or 40,000 mile 12C or something
which is
like
still
that.
a ton of car for what you could get.
80,000
$80,000.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
But what's it going to be worth by the time I'm selling it with 70,000
Who cares
miles?
how much fun are you gonna have with it?
$30,000 worth of fun.
You know what I mean?
A lot
Like,
of fucking fun though. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's crazy how some of those cars are depreciated too. Like we were literally talking about this the other day because he's about to get his next whip. So we were talking about potential candidates stuff like that. And he was so set on an Audi R8 for the longest. Like we didn't even talk about anything else. And then one day I like sent him a 12C, and I was like, have you seen these recently? And now.
Now I'm buying a McLaren.
okay, nice.
All it took was me just go take a look at this, and then that was it. And he just
Expand your mind a little bit.
restructured.
For real. Time out.
yeah,
I
higher
can get
mileage McLarens are not a bad way to go.
Right.
Because like you said it yourself. I mean, if they've been driven, all the crap has been worked out.
Right.
The low mileage cars, believe it or not, people always when I tell this to them, they're always like, really? Like the low mileage cars are the ones you kind of be a little worrisome about because they haven't been driven enough.
Nothing's been replaced.
Yeah. So
It hasn't gone through all its kinks and everything like
Correct.
that.
Right.
And like, God forbid, the ownership experience and everything in between, that car's gonna be a sin. I feel like with McLaren's more so than anything too.
Yeah.
Because you get other types of makes, somebody beats the shit out of the car
Yeah.
and then just offloads it to you, then it's a different story.
Right.
Yeah.
McLaren's like, I got my 720, I think had 11.5 when I got it.
Good.
And now after like, it's been a month and it's almost at 13. But like that car, like I was specifically looking for something in like the 8 to 12,000 mile range.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was like, this will hopefully be pristine.
right.
Drive it another 10, beat the shit out of it, and then
Yeah.
hopefully move on to the next level.
Right.
And I don't want to shit on McLaren the entire time. It's a great car.
No,
They
shit
make
on it.
great
Shit
cars.
on
Yeah.
it. Please shit on it.
No.
I'm down. I'll shit on it with you.
All you've said is there's a stigma.
There's a stigma.
You haven't
Yeah,
said
I mean,
anything
it's
negative
like,
about it.
I mean, if we've experienced both, where the cars were problem children, and then other ones were no issues. So, same with you could still say the same about a Ferrari. It's have issues too. You don't keep these SF90s plugged in, you're gonna have like a $30,000 battery change coming in real quick. So
That's fucking incredible.
I think that's just the labor, but
Depends on where you take it, probably.
they're great cars.
Yeah.
McLarens are great cars. As long as you take care of them. That's
sure.
like the main thing. So for your 720, just take care of that thing.
Oh, I'm gonna take care of that.
Anything you hear like that doesn't sound right, call somebody up, get it checked out, because they're race cars that are building street cars.
Yeah.
That's how, versus everything else went from, I know Ferrari's kind of started with race cars too, but they really wanted to make regular cars for everybody else. McLaren was just like, we built the F1, now let's go build a car that everybody else could drive.
Literally,
Took the huge hiatus, and it's like, you know.
And now I think their cars are at a point where like they're dialed and kicking. Let me tell you. 'Cause again, I was like, when I was getting the 720, I was debating on a couple different options, and then I came to a point. The problem was I drove one, and I was like, when I drove it, I was like, fuck. I was like, this car is fucking absolutely unreal. Then you compare it to what the car drives like and feels like for the price.
Right.
Like the only thing that will beat that out at that price point, like, there's nothing. You have that.
Yeah.
That's the next level. And then after that, like we even did like we like one of my buddies just bought an SVJ, and we were out driving the other day, and I literally smoked him in his SVJ.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're driving a $600,000-$700,000 car, and mine's mid 200s, and I just fucking destroyed you type shit.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like what at that point, like what
720s are insane.
Yeah. They're fast.
The thing is, what do you go from there?
From speed-wise?
From a car, like realistically, if you had a 720 and again you felt that you'd driven the car, what do you go after next? A 765, and you're getting the same thing,
Twice the price,
or you just tune to 720, or do you just?
No.
No tunes.
Don't tune it, please.
Tunes? Oh, no tunes? No. Now we got to dive into this one.
No.
Let's hear it. Why no tunes?
Modifying McLarens is probably one of the most sketchiest things you could probably do.
Yeah. I've seen a McLaren go into flames just from how the tuning was. I mean, if it's like a pretty solid tune, then you should be fine. But when it comes to selling, that's kind of our perspective is no one really wants to buy a tuned car. I mean, there are people out there, but in general, you want a stock car. You don't want to have any other issues, and you want to have warranty at least if something were to go wrong.
CPO.
You start expediting your problems with McLaren if you start tuning in, doing all this kind of crazy stuff with it. It's just then things start breaking. Like, dude, I hate this car. It's like, well, it's not what it's designed for.
Very much.
You know
Like,
what I
it's
mean?
fast
So
enough, you know.
it's
but
plenty fast.
Tune or like even any modifications at all.
I mean, exhaust is cool.
exhausts are cool. I mean, for us, I think our main thing is when it comes to selling your car, you want it as stock as possible. People have this idea that if I'm going to spend 30 grand into a car and then try to sell it, I'm going to get an extra 30 grand on top of the price. That's not the case. You might get 5 if it has the right stuff, but if it's not, and it's going to probably take a little bit longer as well, just to find that right guy that wants that specific car, you know, with the mods.
Like a VF supercharger, for example, like they've created quite a reputation. I feel like there's a lot of people that would appreciate a supercharger on a car. They don't have to spend 40 grand to go get it done. But like, what's your discount on the second hand? What kind of premium are you pulling with something like that? Like 10K over the market value stock, or not even, or just really depends?
Yeah, it's kind of unknown because we kind of just we'll say, hey, we'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
We probably don't think it's going to get that much over. I'd say if you're going to spend 30 grand on a supercharger, probably like 5-10 grand just on top of what the actual market price is. Yeah. But if you find the right guy that says, hey, I want a supercharged car, I could save 15 grand, then you might be able to get a little bit more, but it's just going to take some time.
Yeah, if you're just going to put it out in the market, I mean, you got to look at it, you know, kind of going back, you're going to do some research, right? So you're going to look at the market. And if you have 2 identical cars, one's supercharged, one's not, and the guy who's looking wants a supercharger, then your car is going to sell and the other car is going to sit for maybe another 100 days, you know? But that car actually sells. So that's kind of like what I like to tell people. It's like when you modify it and all that kind of stuff, you're shrinking your buyer pool down
That's exactly
by a lot.
Yeah.
By a ton. Yeah. So, you know, because people, they're going to save the money because they don't have to go do it, but maybe they don't really want it. Like when I bought my house, I didn't really want a pool, but it ended up coming with it. So I was like, I guess it is, you know.
I don't want the extra headache. And all
exactly.
It's not going to upkeep the shit.
And I got to get a pool guy and all this other stuff. You know what I mean? So it's just like the added extra stuff that you don't really want to sign up for, but you do though. So I don't know. We have trouble just from our experience. You know, anything modified usually takes a little longer to sell.
Yeah, and like me as a buyer, if I want to buy a car and then customize it myself, the car that's already customized and already done a different way probably isn't going to be the car that I consider because
who did the work? It's like you know,
that's a big thing
one.
too.
That's the fucking big one.
You know, we've had our fair share of people doing work and it's like, this is not good.
Yeah,
so
this is spotty.
And then you take it to like then you have to take it to another shop who's fixing their mistakes and the original thing, and it's just, you know, for me, I like
it. Depends on the shop you take it to. It's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
They're like, RDB did it?
Yeah.
Here's 500,000 extra.
That should not be the case.
There are people that will do that for sure.
Yeah. It's all about like the brand and how they built up their reputation. But VF is pretty good. I mean,
VF has a good reputation.
A lot of good superchargers and different mods as well.
Do you feel like you guys are in this because you love cars?
Right.
Do you feel like you've gotten desensitized at all by being around them all the time?
Yes.
Yes?
Kind of.
Yeah.
I still just enjoy a good car, and especially like if I'm gonna go for a canyon drive, that's like the best thing for me.
What are you taking on that?
GT3.
GT3.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the best track car, canyon car. Not a fan?
It was going so well, man. This was going so well.
I don't know if you know this.
They just threw a curve and everything.
Yeah, the P car community does not like our podcast.
Oh, really?
We're not fan favorites.
Well, I'll try to save you guys. They're probably the best canyon driving and track cars, and they're the most reliable. I mean, you get a 15 or a 16 GT3, and you're not going to have any issues. You'll drive that thing to the wheels fall off.
With a 4.0 in it?
No, just the 3.8, just the regular.
And it's still solid.
Yeah. I know they had like the engine problems in 2014, and they gave you a new engine, which is cool. But
It's actually crazy. Like when you think about it on a big scale, Porsche is really like, hey, no, this is on us. Like we're gonna hook everybody up. That's again
For 10 years though. That's the whole thing. Running out of time.
I talk a lot of shit on Porsche, but at the end of the day, like some of the shit they do, like I give them kudos.
They hold their value too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing though. But it's crazy too because like you look at what are the reasons traditionally why a car would hold its value? Limited spec. Rarity.
Yeah, rarity. If it's limited, like number wise.
Fucking things aren't rare. They're not
And the
rare at all.
community.
There's a million of them.
But
the 911s are the same damn thing, just a little bit changed
But
every
the
year.
community is so strong.
It's the cult.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the cult. And I use that word on purpose. Okay?
Yeah.
Porsche has this cultist brainwashing they've done. I'm coming at it again. Every episode, I feel like I say the same shit, but it's just like I have to get my point across. The everyday person has this imagery of this car in its head as, in my opinion, what you do is it correlates to attainable success. Bear with me here, okay? The average Porsche owner, let's say on a base 911, the price point of it is, right? Doctor, dentist, something of that degree, something that the everyday person could achieve.
Right.
So because of that, the moniker is now attached to something that people see, like they see a Porsche every day. Someone who doesn't know about cars and doesn't know about the details of an SF90 or a difference between a couple Huracan specs, they see a 911 and they're like, oh, look at that. That's top of the line right there. That guy must be doing crazy.
Right.
So all of a sudden they correlate that, and then you have these fanboys that get into the modifications and like they talk about track times. They have this giant cultist where everybody's like, no, Porsche's the way to go. Porsche's the way to go. But if you drove that anything else, you'd be like, this is dog shit.
No.
In my opinion.
It is track times, by the way.
It is.
That's what it is. They have just marketed the Nürburgring.
Yeah.
And now like everyone's like, well, if you're really a car guy and you care about these things and you know like you know how to drive, because if you don't like the 911, it's just because you don't know how to drive.
Yeah.
If you know how to drive, look at the Nürburgring time.
For sure.
Like when's the last time you were in Germany?
Fly your boxer out to Germany, please.
So
you can fucking
yeah, they've marketed the Nürburgring to it's crazy. McLaren doesn't even put their cars in the Nürburgring.
Still
Ferrari
sell cars,
doesn't even
though.
put their cars in the Nürburgring.
Yeah.
The only ones they're competing with are Lambo.
Right.
And Chevy's like,
Corvette.
oh, CO6 on it.
Like they're like, yeah, we've got the best car ever because look at the Nürburgring. It's like two of the top two monikers don't even put their cars in the Nürburgring.
Yeah,
so
right.
like that's kind of just a funny thing.
They're above that.
But yes, it's always to each their own. So like
Exactly.
you love the car. I can respect that. I can respect the cars. I just like I don't find them. I'm a highway hero, self-proclaimed. It is what it is.
Like the driver experience more so.
Yeah.
So like the car, like it's fun at 9,000, and like you said, but just
Or in the canyon. That's like my main thing.
Yeah.
In the canyons, that's probably the best time. But when you're driving it on the street, all you want to do is just get it to 9,000, and then you're probably getting pulled over. You know?
Very
So
much
it's like,
especially the time it takes to get there and everything between. Like it's just a whole combination of things.
yeah.
But the desensitized thing, where we kind of rabbit trail.
yeah.
Sorry, my autism.
No, same.
I told you get them ranting and it's over. We'll be
Yeah,
here
I mean,
all
I
day.
said I get desensitized on it. I mean, they're still cool cars. Don't get me wrong. Like I love
Right.
looking at them, but for me now, it's like because I see them. I mean, I see them every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when you do something every day, it's like you don't lose the love for it, but you definitely like. It's like I see two SF90s every day. I come into work. Like
Yeah.
it's cool.
Yeah.
You know, there are some people I totally get. You don't ever see them, and it's like I'm super thankful to do it. But for me, it's like if it now has to be like a really really cool spec.
Yeah. Or like that hypercar level of like
Hypercar
918
level,
P1.
right.
Like those will always have a special place for us.
But the spec has got to be really cool for me to be like, okay, that's pretty sick.
yeah. You see like a nice green like Huracan, for example, with gold wheels, like something a little different than your average Huracan, then it's like, okay, that's cool. But when you see just a red or green, the green was like really popular in those cars.
Right.
It's just, yeah, it's cool, but
a white LP 580.
yeah.
Something different.
Yeah, exactly. Spider.
Oh, We just got worse and worse every detail.
Call it the Ty Lopez.
Because so the reason I asked, I talked to a long time ago someone that both of you definitely know, owns the Leader and Hypercar inventory. I asked him what his favorite car was, and his answer was the one that sells the fastest.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, like after all this time, it's kind of just, and you're like, look, I'm looking at the showroom, like, okay, there's a Veyron, there's an Enzo, there's a LaFerrari, there's a Koenigsegg, there's a Pagani, all just lined up right here. And he's like, yeah, it's pretty much hot dogs and hamburgers now, just like whatever sells the fastest.
Yeah.
I drive my Model X with my the wheels that I made, and we call it
When
a
you're
day.
in the business, I think your mindset is more now like, how can I make money on this, or how, like, what kind of money am I looking at? But if you give me the keys to a Koenigsegg, I'm just gonna be ecstatic. Like that's the best
For 300
driving
miles, and then it'll break down. But
No doubt.
Exactly. You'll get over it eventually, but we haven't hit that level where we're driving all these cars all the time. There are still consignments and they're still owned by people, so we don't just take them out whenever.
Right.
So when we do get the opportunity to drive them, I feel like we still have that excitement there.
yeah, it's definitely still cool. Like we took these two SF90s down the street to just literally half a mile away, and it's like it's still cool driving an SF90. Still cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do I see it every day? Yeah, but it's still pretty cool to to drive it, and it's
What's the craziest thing each of you have driven?
Carrera GT.
Carrera GT.
Yeah.
Hell of a car.
It's just, I mean,
Slow,
it's such
but
a
hell of a car.
I mean, yeah, it's just such a like crazy
He's staying on the
experience.
Porsches.
Why you
side
gotta
over
say
there.
that?
It's slow.
Crazy clutch.
Dude, that's you don't say bad things about the Carrera GT.
I'll say bad things about the Carrera GT.
Damn.
CGT is one of the goats.
Truly,
It just is.
it's
just
like
like
it's got some of the most perfect body lines ever created.
Right.
the car still looks good today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've
All the
driven
time.
like the 918 as well. Just got to drive a LaFerrari on the block. Those are like probably
Ferrari?
Yeah.
That's sick.
That's probably my top car.
That's
for
my.
sure. Oh, really?
I love
Okay,
that
we're
fucking
friends
thing.
again. See?
Yes, we're getting back. We're getting back. You lost me for a second, but now we're back. I didn't get to hear your answer, Austin.
I haven't driven any big hypercars or anything like that, mainly because I don't want to, mess them up. They're not mine. So I don't know. I think the coolest one that for me is probably going to be that 765 that we had, the blue one, Paris
That's
blue,
sick.
with the roof scoop. It's just such a unique car.
Yeah.
It's just a cool car. But I don't know. I don't ever feel like the urge, like, oh, I want to drive that. Like I do want to drive it, but it's not like I'm not overwhelmed to want to do it. Like, give me a stick shift with a supercharged V8 and that'll be plenty,
I see where your heart is.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
understand.
the American
I understand.
boy.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
understand
it's
very much.
it's just more fun,
It's like, you
If
feel more
paddles and
connected.
everything are cool, but it's
Yeah.
like, dude, if you have to,
You want that
Business
connection to
in
the
the
car.
front, party in the back.
yeah, you know what I mean? You gotta roll through those gears.
Look at
And
his
it's
hairstyle. Are you
just
kidding me? That's enough. Are you
Yeah,
kidding me?
dude.
That's literally
So-
exactly what you just said.
That's why I said
That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
I'm capitalizing on what you just said. I'm trying to fucking slam that point home.
So yeah, I'm the 720 and he's the SVJ in the race. Sometimes you gotta let him catch up a little.
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, when I get up there, I sound.
But he sounds
I
good.
Sounds
good.
good.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Sounds
Looks
good.
good. Yeah.
Sounds good. Looks fast.
Yeah.
Scores go up.
Looks fast. Terrible in Reno parking lot.
Literally.
Yeah.
I just had to redo a reset on one of my buddies. You guys familiar with Cossum?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was on the way to San Fran and he had a gearbox failure. Literally.
In the SVJ?
In the SVJ, yeah, on the way up. And I have a collision center in Hollywood, so he was on the way up on the 5, and he texted me. He's like, "Yo, can I come by real quick?" I put the Autel on there, and he just had some open grounds that just were passive. So I cleared it, made it all the way to SF. I don't even think he's had a problem yet.
Oh, wow.
Literally, but it just shows like those cars, the electronics and everything.
Yeah.
People think those cars are like, even Lambo having like the bulletproof moniker.
Right.
They're still finicky as hell, just
Yeah.
depending on like the spec you buy, the car
Yeah.
you buy, everything.
For sure.
in between.
I mean, I've driven a good amount of Aventadors in my day, and
Yeah.
you'll see them on rallies. They look great, but that will be the first car to overheat and just have to go pull over on the side and wait a little bit. I mean, probably not now with the Aventador S
Yeah.
and like above that, but I mean, yeah, it's such a crazy car, and you wouldn't expect it to have any issues for that much money, but it's probably the first one, so.
They look so good.
They do, yeah. You can't beat it. And the sound, like, such a distinct sound.
It is.
Yeah.
An amazing sound. The best sound?
Probably, maybe, yeah.
Put him on the
somewhere.
spot.
What would you think is better?
I mean, the LaFerrari sounds crazy.
That's fair.
And we had a straight pipe LaFerrari at Iluso back in the day.
I feel like that's not even
You
fair.
just can't
That'd
beat
be
that.
insane.
Like, you just,
No, you
it's
can't
crazy.
Yeah.
Probably can't be. I can't imagine what that sounds like now. Now I'm just picturing what that
Yeah.
LaFerrari sounds like. I was worried you were gonna say the GT3. That you had me for about 2
No,
seconds.
that's probably on the
I would
lower
have
end.
walked out. I'd have been like, fuck
Yeah.
this, I'm not doing this anymore.
Sounds good at 9,000 RPMs.
Exactly.
Not the greatest idle.
No.
If you guys could have either of you one choice on the market for a car that you guys would buy for yourselves, what would it be?
Unlimited budget?
No.
Give
Because
us
they're
our
both going to
budget, man.
jump to
His question,
hypers.
his
They're,
question,
they're
my
both
bad.
going to jump to hypers if we unlimited.
Yep.
So I'm like, I kind of don't want. I can expect that. Like he's going to say Bugatti of some sort, and then he might pick some other bullshit in that rim too. I'm trying to bait.
Hennessy.
Under 500K.
Did you hear him?
Huh?
Hennessy.
Hennessy?
Big Hennessy guy.
Did you really say Hennessy? Which one? The Venom GT?
No,
F5?
F5.
You and I are fucking.
F5 Revolution.
You and I got to hang out or something like that.
We went to Monterey this last
Yeah,
year.
that was probably the best experience.
And we were at the concourse, and John
Quail.
Hennessy came up, and they were introducing that new F5 Revolution, and they started I think it was 8 F5s. They started
same
all
time.
at the same exact time,
and
I don't
just
know what I
started
would've
going
done it.
ham.
and just started.
I would have
revving the
imploded.
shit
Like I would have just
Yeah.
sat there.
It was great.
It was
Literally
so
just done.
dumb. And
Yeah.
then when we'd see him driving around Monterey, and it's just like that car is just insane.
Yeah.
You rumble when you're next to it.
Yeah.
It's insane. So that's-
Those Texas boys, they do shit differently.
yeah, they're
They-
built different.
They're fucking built different.
Hey, I'm
Yeah.
from Texas. Built different, baby.
built different. They're fucking built different. Like
Built tough.
Built tough.
Like Ford.
Yeah.
What's their budget?
500K.
500K.
And
I give you guys a hell of a budget.
And you know the market too. So.
Giving you a
Yeah.
hell of a budget.
And
But
one
again,
car.
it just shows
One car.
one car, but it doesn't have to be
Yeah,
performance tailored. Like for your lives, what you guys are into,
Right.
what would it be
765. Coupe.
specifically?
Yeah.
Gotta get
With
the
a roof
course.
scoop.
I mean, I know I'm going a little bit over budget, but an SV, just to have an Aventador and like be that specific. I mean, the SVJ is cool, but I think the SV has a real special place in my heart. It's a good car.
We've got a lot of connections.
We got a lot of
the
connections,
supercar
yeah.
connection
Yeah.
is
It's
happening.
It's
Unreal
happening,
right
for
now.
sure.
We've talked about it before. Our logo, the fuck is the word? The silhouette of our current logo is an SV. Because
Oh, okay.
we are like SV boys. Like,
Yeah.
everyone's like the SVJ. I'm like yeah. No.
SV.
That's probably like the new guy.
Yes,
you know,
the
like-
SV is like from being like traditional car guy, like having the Lambo pose from young. The SV is like the pinnacle. Because in my opinion, that's like the most aggressive looking Lambo. Like obviously besides the rebodied fucking Aventadors. And shit
Everything's
like that.
so sharp.
Everything's so sharp.
so
SVJ has rounded front, a little bit of round in the back. Like this SV's everything's cut. Everything's cut, sharp corner. Like it's fucking
Right.
just next
Yeah.
level.
You could probably get one for 500K at a good deal.
Yeah.
Well, high miles, but
High miles.
I'm gonna drive it anyways.
Yeah,
so
fuck it, I'll rip the shit out of
Something
it.
that's safe for you to go and stack more miles on.
Right.
That's the key. Find
Yeah.
something with some miles so you can drive it.
right.
That's what I'm
No garage queens here.
No.
No.
Fuck no. Absolutely. We drive.
You're
the
having
shit
to
out of it.
replace hoses all the time with that.
Yeah.
Clamps.
That's why I'm scared about this McLaren, man. Because I'm driving the shit out of that thing.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, fuck, I gotta really take care of this.
And it's a cool car.
That's one of the things about like I've been like watching the 12C market, and it's just the amount of times I'm reading through a description and it's like all the clamps have just been replaced. I'm like, all right, nice, that one's safe.
Yeah. Someone paid for that one already.
Yeah, that's what I'm. This is what I'm looking for. You're
Yeah.
saying the right things.
Can I ask you guys potentially again? You tell me if you guys can answer this or not. Have you guys ever? Like, what's the craziest like negative experience you guys have had with like a buyer per se?
With a buyer.
With a buyer, yeah. Like negative in the sense of just like you can't believe that this just happened type thing.
I don't know about anything that's like super negative. I haven't had anything like that. So I
I
can't
mean,
really.
I have one experience. I was like just shitty driving a car all the way to LA after like closing the whole deal. His wife sees it and he's just like, she's not happy about it. So I had to just turn around and go all the way back. I mean, it happens, but you know, thank God no like crazy negative experiences, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, we're also still fairly new, I guess. So
Yeah.
you know, I think if you're in the game for like 10 years, you're still a baby. There's still
Yeah.
so much.
Just the sheer amount of like experience and like think about all the established places that exist, especially here. Like we're in SoCal, like because even in SoCal, there's like two different like hubs. You have LA
Right.
and then OC.
Yes.
Even OC, think about how many people have been here for a ton of time. But I'm telling you, the fact you guys came in a year and a half, like you said, officially established, and have made the waves you guys are making, imagine another 8.5 years.
Yeah.
8 years.
Yeah, it should
Yeah.
be interesting.
Just
Hopefully, for
imagine.
sure.
Yeah.
Trust me, you guys are gonna
Yeah.
make fucking waves.
For sure.
The thing about you guys too is you guys have great personalities. You guys know how to talk
Thank
and
you.
stuff like that. That type of shit when you walk into somebody and you deal with somebody like even just like I've had car buying experience before where like you just and I walk in initially and like I hear the first sentence out of somebody and I'm just like fuck no.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this
Yeah,
shit.
it's always fun to buy from another car guy. You know, like you can kind of connect and talk a little bit more rather than just price, financing, and be done. You know, so you get to build that like connection. And that's kind of how my whole career went, is just, I don't want to sell you the car. I want to sell our friendship and also the car along with it. So that's kind of the main thing for us.
I wouldn't come forward with the GT3 shit then, if that's the case. I would hide that in the back then.
He's not gonna let you.
Let me take you for a drive in the canyon, and then we can.
So at what point are you going to start messaging private sale listings across the country on Car Gurus and asking if you can slap your logo on their listing and
Yeah, I mean,
For us?
say it's yours?
Ain't no way.
You guys are familiar with that or no?
No.
No.
No?
Oh,
You
no.
got to put them on game. Put them on game.
I mean,
kind of like a
Put 'em
virtual
on game. We're
consignment.
here. Put them on game. We're
virtual
here. Say it
consignment.
now.
You know, there's been times I've seen, especially because I've been on, you know, watching the market closely because my car's about to sell and I'm like ready to get the next thing. I've noticed some cases where there's a car that comes on good value from a private sale listing,
Right.
and then I'm like, wow, that's a crazy value. I'll send it to him, pull up the listing 3 days later, and now it's up 15K with a dealership logo across the front. Same picture, same
Yeah, yeah.
listing, everything.
Very specific dealership.
But now it's just got the dealer logo across the top, and now it's being sold by that dealer.
Yeah.
You know, theoretically.
I mean, for us, I think we don't really want to mess with that. We want the car here so we could see it. We know what
Right.
the car is.
Yeah.
I mean,
a little
especially if it's
risky
across
to
the
be
country.
doing that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's smart, I guess, for money wise, but it's so much more headache.
Yeah.
We want the car here if we're going to consign a car.
Yeah.
But it just shows like the priorities and like what you guys stand for.
Well, it's just
Like,
quality
the fact-
control, man.
Yeah.
Like, exactly. Like their name might be so big, but then all of a sudden they start doing shit like that, and then you get one or two bad experiences, and then I guarantee you they don't give a crap
Right.
about that experience.
Yeah.
Next thing, it just shows the reputation and what
Yeah.
they're truly after,
Yeah.
Right.
versus you guys that give a little more to the intimacy and like want to actually have a good buyer experience from the buyer. Because at the end of the day, I think this, in my opinion, this is the one concept. No matter what type of business somebody's in, like even if you sell, I don't care if you sell a digital product or whatever the fuck it is, you're in the people business, because without clients, you don't have any, you don't have shit.
Right.
If someone's not buying your product, someone's not coming here buying what you're selling or even the service you're offering, you don't have anything. So the
Yeah.
fact that you guys care about that first,
Right.
that's the number one thing in my mind.
Right.
Not knowing shit about dealership.
Right. Yeah. It's the main thing is just quality control. I mean, we get clients where, you know, they want to put a car on consignment. They're like, oh, but can I come grab it for this week? I'm like, if you take it from here, I'm taking it offline, just because it's like, I need the car here and I need to know what its current status is if I'm going to sell it.
Right.
You know, if you take the car and I get a call on it and it'd be like, I don't know, it's got maybe 100 more miles, maybe now there's a rock chip in the windshield and all the kind of, you know, so many different variables that
Right.
if it's here, then I know what it is and I can put my hands on it and, you know, FaceTime a client,
Yeah.
you know, to take a look at it or whatever, versus like, you know, if it's online somewhere, I'm like, I don't know what it actually is.
Yeah.
You know, we had those pictures done 3 weeks ago. If you're driving
Gives you
it
more
every day.
confidence as a seller too, just knowing that the car is here, you know everything about it, rather than, like you said, just being out on the street and could get a rock chip that day and now we have to add another $2,000 or whatever.
We're
to the
familiar with
price.
rock chips here in Southern
Oh,
California.
man.
Especially in
the
LA, let me
worst,
tell you,
sure.
the potholes and everything in LA, man, is fucking getting bad.
Especially after rain, it's like
It's
destroys
dude,
it.
it's a joke. It's a joke, and they don't do shit about
Hey,
it.
but
They just let the
we
shit
pay good
sit.
taxes over here to keep all that stuff up to date. So good job.
Yep, exactly. Yep. And that shit doesn't get changed for nothing. So.
Yeah.
You pay 9.5% on a $600,000 car
Yeah.
for
for them to not fix the things.
Yeah.
Don't forget the registration.
In Montana,
Obviously, yeah.
then you
You're
don't have
smart.
to do it.
Montana, everything
Yeah.
in between. If you don't know how to do that, we can help you with that too. But that's neither here or there.
So I'm trying to think, because this is kind of like impromptu. I'm trying to think about the words, because the traditional words might get flagged on the internet, specifically the last one. So we'll go one night stand. That's safe. Marry, and we'll go burn, because we can't say the typical word. So one night stand, marry, burn. McLaren, Ferrari, Lambo.
Oh, okay. One night stand McLaren. Marry Ferrari, and just because I have to burn Lambo, then I'll burn Lambo.
That's a correct. I was not expecting that.
I wouldn't really either. But
Just because that LaFerrari, man, I really want one of those.
I respect that. That I respect.
Austin,
Mary Lambo. One night stand McLaren, and then burn Ferrari.
Man, that McLaren's a fun one night stand, man. I know. Dude. It's got to be such a fun one night stand, man. Fucking super fun.
burn Porsche.
That's what I was
I just know Ferrari is just like the brand. They're so like uptight, and I just
Yeah.
it's not a it's not a vibe that I like to deal with. Like, you know, you walk in a Ferrari dealership and it's like, they're like, when are you leaving?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Versus,
Why are you here?
Right. Versus you walk into like a McLaren and, you know, Lambo, it's still kind of like, when are you leaving? But also like, maybe you're going to buy something because you're a crypto kid. I don't know. You know,
right.
so
They're just more accepting.
Yeah.
But don't get me wrong. In my opinion, I feel like Lambo's becoming slightly like that.
they are there. It does feel like that. And,
It's the demand of their fucking cars is the problem.
yeah.
Like the Revelto, whatever the hell it's called, sold out till 2026.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm like, so you just think about it. Like, for example, by no means in my life anywhere near am I able to get that car. But then I think about it. I'm like, if I'm chasing that goal, even if I get there,
Right.
I can't get the fucking thing.
Yeah, you
So,
got to like establish that crazy relationship with them, buy a bunch of cars and lose a bunch of money on them. Kind of like how Ferrari is. I mean, if you want,
especially like that.
right,
Yeah,
if you want like
that's what I'm
to
saying.
really be on the VIP list, you have to own like 5+ at the same time, high-end Ferraris, and then go buy all the new ones that come out and just take the hit and just sell out of it. It's crazy.
And you can be a huge collector and have Ferrari collector in your Instagram handle and still not get a LaFerrari Aperta.
Right.
Is that
Yeah.
really the case? I don't know. That's fucking insane.
Yeah.
I mean,
Everybody, he should have one.
I'm sure that, you know, he was able to acquire one for $7 million from someone else. But yeah, didn't get an allocation.
Yeah, like the 812 Competition, that's a crazy car, but you can't buy it from the factory unless you own a certain number of Ferraris in your garage.
I think it was like 5 current, like
5 current
at one
Ferraris.
time.
You have to have them current, not history
Yeah,
of purchase.
right.
Like they have to be with you now.
Yeah, in your
type shit.
garage. It's like hand selected almost. Which that's a badass car too.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are
We've
crazy.
got a couple of them in here, not for sale, but for PPF, and it's just like, that car's nuts.
Any experiences with the Ford GT?
The new one? Not yet, actually.
No.
I actually really love the old Ford GT.
Yeah.
The best driving manual experience for me, and it's not that uncomfortable. Like it looks really uncomfortable with all those like cups in the seats, but it's actually not bad. It really, I mean, supercharged V8, like can't beat it.
That's right, baby.
He's converting me
Do
over.
you still like it? Are you a Chevy person at heart? And
I am a Chevy person at heart, but if there is one Ford I would ever buy, it would be that Ford GT.
Yeah. Did you
All
see the
4
new
options, just...
I got one for Austin.
Okay.
Favorite all-time Corvette ever. Doesn't have to be driven. Like if you can have one Corvette from any point in time in history, what would it be?
That's a good one.
You
That's
and
a
I-
toss-up
you
between
and I
the two
are gonna-
ZR1s that are out right now.
Hell yeah,
so
baby.
it's
Say
I
the
love
right
the
one.
C6. It's a timeless design, and but that C7 with the big wing is just so gangster.
So
Yeah.
fucking clean.
Hey, Wang
So
gang.
sick.
clean.
One of our customers brought his buy with the manual gearbox, red, all the carbon, all the options. Man,
It's so dope.
It's pretty sick.
That's the one car that I haven't driven that I would do anything to drive.
Right.
Not even the manual, just the ZR1.
Right.
Like the C7. Because my old man had a C6, and that was one of the cars I grew up in my teenage years of being able to like just be in the passenger seat drive.
Yeah.
That fucking car is what put everything on the map for me.
Yeah.
Because even too, that car was walking and competing with high-end Lambos at the time. Mm-hmm. So the C7 is the only thing I haven't been able to drive.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I would do anything to drive one.
Yeah.
If anybody has one and lets me drive them, whatever you want, I will give to you. Because I'm telling you, I just want to feel. Because again, the Z06 for me is everything.
Right.
That torque and like for what it is. So just slap another 100 on that thing. That's
Yeah.
all I want. I just want to
How do you
feel what
even
it feels
control
like.
it?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Your wheel spinning at like 130.
Oh, for sure.
130, mash it.
If you hook though, I just want to feel what that
Scary
feels
I'm
like.
excited
cars,
to see what the new ZR1 is going to be about.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to go into this because now we're here for 2 hours if we go into this because literally you talk about I'll say a 10-second synopsis. They have 2 motor choices with 2 twin turbo setups and they haven't disclosed what they're going to do. One is the obvious, one is not the obvious one, but they have so many directions they can go. And there's a possibility that eventually they'll come out with a Zora and slap the hybrid motors on the front of
Right.
whatever setup they do.
Right.
Sorry,
It'll be a Chevy.
it'll be a Chevy version of that.
a
thing.
Chevy version
Right.
of that.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. I even think that the ZR1 might just not do the Zora and just do that for the ZR1.
Like straight hybrid motor.
Just like how they have with the E-Ray. That's why
Yes.
they did Z06 and then the E-Ray, and then they're going to put them together, and then
That's
call it
a
ZR1.
1,000 horsepower car.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Corvette's turning into 911 though. We got a version for everyone.
yeah,
Yeah.
But
Oh,
they're
for sure.
actually fucking fast cars and their price points make
Yeah,
sense.
it's gonna be insane. I mean, we've had a couple Z06s, the new C8 Z06s in here, and those things just sound insane.
Those things are fucking awesome.
They sound really
They're
good.
dope.
Yeah.
Those things
He's
are fucking
super dope.
he's got one.
Oh, nice.
do you?
I fucking love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I fucking love it. Let
It's
me
a
tell
sick
you.
car.
Great. The only problem is so okay. So I have right now I have a 458 that and then the 720. So the 458 was like the the thing that got me started. That was like
Right.
the moniker. That shit was awesome.
Never sell that car. Or do you have it still, or you?
It's for sale currently. Right?
Oh,
Yeah. I thought we would actually have a conversation. This would be after the podcast, after that. But yeah, it's for sale currently. The only reason I'm selling it is because I'd rather use that capital to work for me instead of being
Right.
sit in the car. Because trust me, I know the second it sells, 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the line, I'm going to look at the prices
Yeah.
and throw
Yeah.
up on
That's
a
the main
day-to-day
thing. Yeah,
basis.
yeah.
Because that car is going to be an instant fucking classic.
Yeah.
yeah.
On a whole nother scale.
For
And
sure.
What
why
the
is that?
cash will do and other things is gonna make
Maybe you
that.
can buy 2 of them.
That's exactly why I'm
yeah,
like,
it's
yeah,
not gonna-
exactly. Then hopefully, maybe I'll get like a Speciale.
Yeah,
down the
yeah,
line or
yeah.
something like that, you know, please. But the Z06, I drove the Z06, and it's like, you can tell the fact that they re-engineered the 458 to make this car, and it was fantastic. Love the sound, love everything. But then I got the 720, and now both of them feel like dog shit.
Right.
It's actually kind of sad because I was like, at one point, not too long ago, I looked at both of them like they were God itself.
Right.
And now the 720 makes me look at them like I'm like,
720 is next level. It's
it
definitely
screwed
next level.
everything. I wasn't
Right.
expecting this, man. Like
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
I'm actually pissed off.
I warned him.
The bar has definitely been raised. Yeah.
I warned him.
That's a whole nother world of car, the 720. And people don't realize that because they just see them and they're like, oh, that's just a McLaren. But it's like, dude, if you put your foot down on one of those things, it's kind of like you get the regular low end torque of the V8 and then the turbos kick in and you're like, okay, this is
You pinch
stupid.
yourself. Tell you
Yeah.
literally.
It is crazy how fast you're just at 130 miles
It's
per
insane.
hour.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Like-
People don't understand.
And
Like,
so
it's,
effortlessly too. It's
So
like
effortlessly.
crazy.
You don't like if you're not looking at the speedometer, you're going to be in like just so much trouble.
Yeah.
The
Little
other day-
flip down screen.
I was driving down from where we kind of stay up in LA down here, and it was really early in the morning. And again, I took a weird route. I ended up in Mexico. I don't know how the fuck I did it. And then I looked down and I saw a clear road, and it was just after the water dried up from the rain. And I said, screw it. I'm just gonna mash the pedal for like 6-7 seconds and just kind of see what happens. When I looked down, the beginning digit wasn't what it traditionally would be.
right.
And I remember the feeling, my balls went from here to here. My stomach like reversed in my body. And all I did was just let off the gas pedal because I wasn't going to start braking at that point.
Right.
Because next thing you know, I'm donezo.
Right.
But what freaked me out was when I got to that point, it didn't feel like it at all.
Right.
Like
Too
I
easy.
literally like if it was something, you know that song where it's the Halo theme song? You know what I'm talking about? Like the Halo, the video game?
Yeah.
It felt like that inside the car.
Yeah.
Like nothing was rattling. Everything was just, I was just like, like I was,
Floating
and I
in
looked
there,
down.
yeah.
All of a sudden, like I just couldn't believe it to the point where like I reached that speed, but when I was up there, it literally felt like I could have been going 130. Like the difference between 130, 140 and whatever number I touched was not that different at all.
Right.
And
It's
that
very
just-
smooth.
It goes to the engineering of the car. And then you go talk about it, like how can the car be that dialed, but then at the same time be that fucking problematic?
Well, because that's where it wants to be. It wants to be doing
It wants to
that
live up
kind of
there.
stuff. You drive around Newport Beach and you go 60 miles per hour max. It's like the car's like, dude, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Why'd you even take me out today?
Yeah,
This is some bullshit.
exactly. What are we doing?
Take the Ferrari out.
But yeah, that fucking car is fucking stupid.
Yeah, and it's like planted. Like you can really get. I mean, obviously with warm tires, but you step on it, it's not really gonna just start swirling like most rear-wheel
Yeah.
drive high horsepower cars.
It's
Car
crazy.
kitchen.
It's a
Yeah.
it's a rocket.
It's
Yeah,
a fucking rocket.
absolute rocket.
Rocket ship.
I do have one more question before we get into the
Jumped it, hit it, rip it. Don't drink too much of that.
Just water. But when it comes to selling like these exotics,
Yeah.
okay, I feel like it's probably really specific to the moniker and the car. So I'm going to give you like a scenario. You've got like a guy comes in with a black on black or like blacked out Huracan, black paint, black wheels, Batman spec. And then you've got a guy that comes in with like an ad personam crazy, Viola car with, custom interior, all that stuff. Which one are you betting sells faster? Just like the basic straight line spec?
Faster.
Yeah.
All
black
all
on
black.
black, yeah.
All black.
Really?
yeah.
The basic specs are
It's
easier to
probably
sell?
at like a little bit of a lower price point, and I'd say like it's more to everybody. Mm-hmm. Everybody likes black on black cars. So yeah, I mean, it'll sell faster, but the other one might get a little bit more money. And if we do find the right guy that's been looking for something like that, it should sell pretty quick. But
Yeah.
in general, the black car would probably sell
Yeah.
quicker.
So if you were buying like a Huracan with the idea of like, I want it to hold the value the best and sell the fastest when I'm ready to get out of this car, what color would you buy?
For a Huracan,
Yeah.
Grigio, I think it's like the gray Grigio color, like this SF90.
Yeah. Grigio Telesto.
Yeah, people really like that color. I mean, or just like white or black. I'd say just That way you can wrap it if you want, but at least it's the more general colors.
Yeah.
When you're like thinking about the green or the reds, like it's just a little bit more specific because there's some Lambo guys who want to be low key,
Right.
versus others who want the
Skittles.
Skittles.
What about McLaren? Does the answer change at all?
Papaya Spark.
I mean, McLaren is like the higher the spec, obviously, going to be more expensive. So more broke boy spec is probably going to be easier to sell.
Yeah.
Just, it's not as crazy. Like that white 600 LT, it should move pretty quick. It's just,
I don't know. I think McLaren though, like there's a lot of orange ones and like other cool colors. So maybe the McLaren buyer is a little bit different and wants a more loud color.
The doors go up. That's
doors
probably
go
part
up.
of the reason they're getting it.
Right, a douchebag, something like that. He's probably just gonna ask. Like,
Got the matching vest.
That's the whole nine. That's fucking crazy.
all the gear.
Oh, I'm gonna buy so much gear. I can't wait. Wear it everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A Ferrari red.
Ferrari red.
Ferrari red.
Yeah.
That seems like the obvious pick.
Red
Red,
and
yellow,
black
silver.
now, not red.
It's
on-
changing
kinda
a
what
little
it is,
bit.
yeah.
It's changing a little bit. I think people are starting to get tired of the red for Ferrari.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But depending on the model and like
But they
the
still
price.
sell. Like we
Yeah,
had an
for sure.
F8, a red on black car, and
Yeah.
that car sold so quick.
Yeah.
Even
it's
like
meant to
way
be
over
red.
sticker too.
The tan interiors are phasing out
For sure.
For sure.
without the 60-year-old buyers.
Right.
70-year-old.
Yeah.
I mean, even those guys, I feel like are starting to lean more towards
Yeah,
the
you go to Cars and Coffee,
younger
the 6-year-old
specs.
guy gets out of a blue Ferrari. Like,
100%.
what the
How
heck
else
is
do you think
this?
he's gonna keep his 26-year-old girlfriend if he's fucking in some shit with
Yeah.
a tan interior? Are you kidding me? You
Yeah.
can't do that shit.
Yeah.
The game has changed. We're
Yeah.
a whole new echelon.
Definitely
game now.
shifted.
Very much so.
Sure.
Want to rip the last three?
Yeah, we can do it. You've had a moment to prepare, huh? So guess questions. Everyone gets the same questions. First up, what's the most overrated car today?
For me, I know I'll probably get a lot of hate for this. I think it's the SVJ, just because
Holy
it's
crap.
like you can buy so many cars for that money and have a way better driving experience. A GT3 and maybe something else. And for me, at least, it'd be a lot more fun to have options rather than just like. I mean, I'm not a flexor kind of guy. That's I think more of the flexor kind of car. Nothing wrong with that, but at least it's so like. Everyone loves that car. It's so crazy, but I mean, it's cool. It's good, but
I feel like
I'd
it
have
just
the other things.
that car sparks the little kid.
it does.
Like that's what it,
Yeah.
it like takes you back to like what I mean maybe not
Spaceship
everyone,
on the
but, like,
road.
Yeah, the reason I fell in love with cars in the first place, like something drove by and I was like, what is that? That sounds crazy. It looks crazy. And then you're driving it and you hear the noises. It's like it brings the little kid back out of you.
Right. I mean, for me, it was the Murcielago that kind of sparked that. But after driving them, they're not that great driver cars. I mean,
Yeah.
it's cool, but it's more the looks and the sound and the doors that go up. So
Never meet
that's-
your heroes.
Well, everyone that we've talked to that owns one has said the same thing.
Oh, really?
That
Yeah.
like they really don't drive that great. It's just
Yeah.
the fact that
You're sitting almost like sideways.
Right.
like-
What, the SVJ?
just no Murcielagos.
Oh, Murcielago. Oh, yeah.
I was talking about the SVJ.
Oh, but like that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
kind of just it's such a great car for specific reasons, but for a driver's car, it's just not what would you think it would be.
Austin, most overrated car.
Gonna have to go with the Lexus LFA.
The Lexus.
Whoa.
It is. That is a good. That is a good pick.
I just like it sounds good, but it's not the best sounding
Yeah.
car out there. And like when everybody, goes goo goo gaga over it, I'm like, I just don't get it, dude. It's a Toyota, bro. Like I don't know what to tell you. Like,
Literally.
it's a Toyota.
Yeah.
It's just,
Toyota
it's-
Yamaha collab. Like,
Yeah.
literally think about that for a fucking second. And you're talking about M for that thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like it doesn't do it for me. It's like
Yeah.
they tried with the little 3 exhaust thing on the back. It's just like, I mean, it sounds good, but I'll take a Lambo V12 over that every single day. Every single day.
I love it. Most underrated car.
I'm gonna go with the R8.
All right.
Yeah.
I like that.
R8s are just, they're so solid and they're such a good car, and people they sleep on those cars, but it's a good daily driver, and you could do everything you need to. You could be super fast or you could be super chill with it, and usually everything's going to work on that car. So I think R8s are like the most underrated in my opinion.
Yeah.
And you can take it customization like crazy.
Oh, yeah,
You wanna
you
tune
can
it up. You can actually those cars
Supercharger if you
tune, not
want.
be too crazy.
Yeah. And they look dope.
For
Yeah.
sure.
And they don't make them anymore
It's a
now.
blank canvas for modifications.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they don't make them. So now they're
They
on
will
its way
again.
out.
They will again.
Yeah, but electric.
They're lying to you. It'll be back.
It's going to be electric.
It'll be back. Obi, the most underrated car today.
Underrated car. I don't know if it's like super underrated, but I just don't really see them much, and people don't really talk about them. Is the 812 Superfast, or even the F12? Actually, I'd take that back. The F12, crazy car, front engine V12. I mean, it's not like super low like most exotics, but it just has something about it, like the back shape of it and all that. A sound,
Ferrari V12?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm definitely going to go with the F12 for underrated, because you just don't see them anymore.
Yeah, it's a great looking car. It looks a lot like the C7 Corvette, but it's a great looking car.
Yeah.
It is the fanciest looking C7 Corvette.
Right.
And then the McLaren GT is the fanciest looking C8 Corvette.
Very much so. It is.
Corvette. So is Corvette really just the best car?
Corvette is the fucking best car. I don't want to talk
It's definitely up there.
Yeah.
I can name reasons.
C7 Z06, most underrated car on the market.
For you?
No.
No.
Just throwing it out there for Austin.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Last question. So you've got unlimited budget. 3 cars is all you get. You're building your 3-car garage. Those 3 cars, that's all you have for all of the things in life that you need.
Yeah.
So
I'll probably go LaFerrari as like the top. This is my baby. Performante with a twin turbo kit. That's reliable. Just clean.
How do you make it reliable?
Underground racing.
There it is.
Warranty, all that. And just something I could beat on in the canyons and just on the weekends. Don't want to beat on the loft. And then I'll take a Escalade V as the daily for the family, you know?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's going to be a little different, but I'm going to have TRX for the daily, Venom F5 as the go fast car, and an Aventador SV as like my
Respect that. It's a hell of a garage.
kind of
Yeah.
like don't want to be crazy F5, but still want something dope to drive.
That's a hell of a garage.
that is. Is there a reason you go perf over STO?
Yeah, I think perf is a little bit more dailyable or just like drivable. STO is cool,
For sure.
but it's just so much you got to worry about and so much extra stuff. But I mean, I don't know. I think the perf just I grew up I was like in the industry when it first came out, and I got to really experience them. I actually haven't driven an STO yet. Yeah, so maybe that'll change. But the perf is
Such a
solid
dope car though.
Very
Yeah.
much so.
And they're reliable. I mean, I haven't seen any real big issues with the Huracan platform in general. I mean, it is technically an R8, but it's just those are some great cars for sure.
It's an R8 with some extra spices.
Yeah.
Right?
Italiano.
The Alcantara, the all Alcantara interior in the perf is
The forged carbon fiber.
it is
That shit is
a thing of beauty.
Right.
Sitting in that car is like like everything's so perfect in that car, I feel like.
That is probably like one of the only cars with forged carbon fiber as like its thing, rather than just like the traditional carbon, I'd say.
Trust me, and like our buddies that you guys had, we got the opportunity to drive it. And we were driving one time. Literally, him and I were driving it. We pulled up to a red light, and like we were just sitting there. And next thing you know, we're looking at everything. I look at him. I'm like, "Are you looking at this shit?" And we're analyzing everything, and like you see the Alcantara all the way up to like the windshield, and you see all the forged carbon. I was like, "This is the fucking nicest interior I've ever seen in my
super
life."
super
shit.
cool.
I was literally like laying in bed, like replaying it, and I was like, that interior was like the most beautiful interior I've ever sat in.
For sure.
Just passed us by like nothing. Yeah. Hell of an answer, boys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
What's your favorite interior on a car?
Interior.
Yeah.
I do like the loft interior just because it's like a fixed seat and you can really only move the pedals. And it just feels like such a spaceship in there.
He's a big loft fanboy.
Yeah,
this
that's
guy.
I can respect that.
I love the car. Maybe not as much as you, but it's definitely up there in my top.
Yeah.
It's on my Rushmore, no doubt. And so is him too.
It's high on my Rushmore.
Best interiors now are, I have to give it to Ferrari.
Yeah.
They're just so nice, and like you could tell that it's like this is a Ferrari interior. Like McLaren interiors could be better.
Dog shit. No,
Even my Corvette ones, even though they updated it for the C8s, still could be a little bit better. They're still nice, but Ferrari interiors are just so dope.
Yeah.
It just feels good.
And for daily use, I think Mercedes interiors actually
Mercedes are really nice too.
Yeah.
I'm a big G63 whore. I'm telling you right now. I'm a huge G63.
Yeah, those are
even
dope.
just the G platform in general.
Right.
Like I know they're very basic, like a lot of people have and shit like that. But like I remember like I didn't have one, And I was wondering, I was like, why the fuck does everyone like these things?
Mm-hmm.
I got one, and I was like, I understand why everyone likes
get
these
it.
things, and then I got rid of it, and now I'm like, I fucking want another.
What year did you get?
I had a 21.
Okay, yeah. So like anything pre 2019,
Yeah.
dog shit. I mean,
Dog
it's
shit.
just they drive like shit. I was surprised they actually did such a long run with them. But once they switched to 2019s, upgraded everything,
If it's
feels like
selling,
S
bro.
Class.
If
You
it's
know?
selling, you're not going to change it.
That's what I'm saying.
That's true.
I was literally, I was just sitting there. I was like, why the fuck is everyone obsessing over this stupid car? And then I drove one, and I was like, oh, shit, I need one. I'll fuck my life.
Hold you in when you turn. You're like, oh, this is kind of
It was
nice.
like, it was fucking unreal.
I hate driving big cars. Like, I want to drive a sports car all the time, something low, something small, something I feel like I have total control over. And the G-Wagon is the only big car I've ever driven where I'm like, okay, I enjoy this.
Right.
This is nice. Every other car, I was just in a big car, a rental, and it was like a boat, and I was like, this is horrible. I hate driving this thing. Yeah, every SUV, I'm like, I feel like I'm gonna hit everything because like I drive a 4C. It's literally just like one of the smallest cars
Yeah,
on the road.
go-kart.
Everything feels huge. But I hopped in the G-Wagon, was driving that, and was like, okay, this I could actually,
Yeah.
I could get used to this, no doubt.
And it's luxurious. I mean,
Yeah.
it's really nice on the inside, I think.
But for
Maybe the boys will find me another one. We'll see
for
what
200 grand or whatever,
Got
got
one
one.
outside.
better be nice.
Really?
Yeah. White one.
Dead ass? What year?
23,
23,
23? How many miles?
17.
17K. Really clean.
What's the
though.
interior color?
Beige or tan.
Macchiato.
Macchiato.
You said red interior. I still want to look at it. But if you said red, I'd be like, fuck.
Yeah, red's really popular on those cars for sure.
Macchiato, that's a specific clientele.
It's definitely.
Imagine pulling up to something and being like, my interior is macchiato.
Yeah.
Yo, you definitely hopping out with a fucking AMG hat on for sure. For fucking sure.
And the jacket for
And
sure.
the fucking jacket. Call me Manny Cochran.
That's the wife's car for sure, macchiato.
Yeah. It's a Newport spec,
Yeah,
you know?
Newport special. It's a different breed down here.
For sure.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Anything else? Any other dealer insight you want to throw in at the end?
Plug yourself. Plug Instagram.
Yeah, you could follow us, OBZU.
Yeah.
If you want to consign your car, we'll help you sell it. If you want to buy a car from us, talk to Austin.
Yeah. ab.obzu on Instagram. It's my initials, Austin Brady. And yeah, hit us up. I mean, we're here to help, even if it's just, to talk cars and you guys need some insight.
Give you some advice as well.
Like I said, I like giving away information for free for some reason. So,
Consulting fees are coming soon.
yeah, coming soon.
Don't
Depending on
bullshit
how
me
many
too
phone
much.
calls I get. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
First 10 for free. No. But yeah, I mean, we're just here to, kind of do things a little different and be a little bit more involved with the ownership experience and not just, trying to sell you a car and say, all right, see you later, bye. We're here to help and everything like that too. So that's what we're here for.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate you guys very much taking the time.
Appreciate
to
you
come on.
guys having us.
coming.
Thank you for having us.
It's been one of our better episodes. So it's
been fun.
Very thankful.
For sure.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
So,
That's
We're
it.
out.